Besides these bodies, there is a lot of bilateral and multilateral cooperation, and I'm not going to enumerate that. Certainly, in day-to-day police work, the mutual assistance in law enforcement by networking is a very useful tool. I don't need to explain that there are legal limits for this networking. Information you exchange with friends cannot automatically go into files because it's not evidence. But nevertheless, especially after terrorist incidents with an international impact, these networks lead oftentimes to first traces that in the course of the prosecution have to be reinforced and proved for further action. I am not going into details about the biggest problem of international prosecution cooperation, and that is the so-called mutual assistance. All information exchanged between countries has to be exchanged in a certain form, depending if there are treaties between bilateral treaties between the countries, or if they belong to a multilateral treaty like most of the European countries, or if there's no treaty at all. Even without a treaty, you can give mutual assistance. Mutual assistance that leads to legal actions in the other countries one country is asking for. That can be arresting people, making searches, giving any kind of evidence, or even extraditing. It's a very complicated framework. Just to give you the impression how complicated transnational terrorism can be. But there's one thing you all have to understand, especially here in Indonesia, that there are limits for us as Europeans in this international cooperation, and that concerns the death penalty. Death penalty does not exist in Europe anymore. Only one country still executes death penalty, that is Belarus. And we have council decisions on the abolition of death penalty. And in most of our constitutions, it's stated that death penalty doesn't exist anymore. This makes it extremely difficult for us to cooperate in those cases where our information could lead to the execution of someone. Every time we deliver information which leads to death penalty, the United Nations grant us that the death penalty will not be executed. This is the way out, the only way out of the problem, because a police officer rendering information leading to an execution could be not only disciplined but even prosecuted in his own country. Let me just conclude now that terrorism is a very complex crime phenomenon. I try to make it as easy for you as possible, but it was a lot of information. But it certainly is a crime. There is no doubt that terrorist crimes are heinous crimes, and that need special legislation and should be dealt with at a maximum priority and all available expertise. Nevertheless, it's a law enforcement task that has to follow the rule of law and the legal provisions of prosecution. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Hans. I think, as you can see, that there is similarity, between what happened in Germany and what we have here, concerning legal problems, problems with intelligence, whatever. The role of military. Well, in terms of military, I think there is still a chance for Indonesian military to jump in on and tackling terror, because as stated in the defense law as well as the military law, there is a possibility of the military, to do such kind of a counter-terrorist activity under the umbrella of military operations other than war. While you said that it is it is totally prohibited by Germany. So there's actually the room for us to discuss. And in the matter of death penalty, for example, we Indonesians are still recognizing the death penalty, while in Germany it's totally abolished. Well, in general, the topic of counterterrorism is still very much important because the danger of terrorism is still prevalent. While we are still hunting, for example, the Nurdin Muhammad while he is still at large, and is busy recruiting a new member. Yeah? And I think one more, which is actually different, Indonesia and Germany, that you don't have Densus 88. You have very good Densus 88. Well, people say it's very good, but I don't know whether this Densus is very much expensive due to the budget needed for it. Yeah? Well, yes, it has been 240. There are a lot of issues that have been discovered as well as explained by Hans Martin Timmermans. So thanks for all of the explanations, Hans. And on behalf of the Dean of the faculty, there is a small token. Would you please kindly accept? There is a university prize. And for the fourth and second semester is conducted by December 10th, as we will also celebrate the Anti-Corruption Day. The International Anti-Corruption Day on 10th of December. There will be Indian speaker. Now we have US speaker, Germany speaker, and now we will have an Indian speaker. So please join us on the 10th of December. Thank you very much.